Welcome to the bunker. I am your host, sitting in for the great Andy Burrows as he is under the weather and at the hospital. So everybody wish Mr. Burrows well. He's okay. So don't everybody freak out. He's got a little bit of infection, but told him to stay away from those the corner girls, and he never listened to all of us.
Hey man, I hate
I'm joking, of course. It is Monday, November 18th. We're heading into week 12. With me, as always, it's our co host, Scouse Andrew Lockhart. Scouse, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, pal. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Obviously better than Burrows. How
Yeah,
you doing, man?
not too bad. I think I've calmed down. From Thursday, it was a kind of a crushing defeat that we've had the past 2 weeks. But it's Dallas week, and we are now, getting into the nitty gritty end of the season. This team really needs a bye week. But before we dive into that, I want to welcome a guest. It's been a while since our buddy Tin Shit Scott Hartley has joined us. Scott, how's the stomach?
Stomach's great, Jesse. Yeah, all good. Better than the
It's
weather is outside. It's
funny,
just started snowing. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we've got a bit of snow on the ground, which is quite interesting to see that. But yeah, we were just discussing before we got on air here. It's -2 outside or 28
Yeah.
degrees in your weather. So yeah,
So
quite cold.
a weather report from Barrow and Furnace. It's fucking cold. Here it's 70 degrees. Feels like friggin' springtime.
Yeah, I know
Middle
that's
of
crazy.
November, you know. Is what it is. Hopefully it'll be nice. It should be nice this weekend for the Dallas game. It's Dallas week. It's not your typical Dallas week though, because their starting quarterback Dak Prescott is out for the year, but that gives us a chance to get back on track after two crushing defeats. The first one against Pittsburgh, man. We lost that game. The Steelers did not win that game, and then we turn around 4 days later on a Thursday night in front of the whole entire nation, and we kind of put out a stinker. But not everybody had a stinker. I think our defense, at least for the first half and into the second or the third quarter, played as well as we've seen them play all year. Um, they did kind of give it up, but I think there's a lot had to do with that we didn't keep the ball. We didn't, and they got wore out and they got gassed, and you couldn't expect them to keep it going for all four quarters, especially without any breaks. But I thought the defense had a very, very good showing. They seemed to get better every week. I thought, as much as we've harped on the secondary all year round, it was their best game of the season by far. I think St. Juice had some good moments in that game, but at first I want to start with Mike Sanders still. Man, what a excellent draft pick. And it's showing that this draft class can really, one draft class can really change a team around and their outlook around. Nobody expected this team to be 2 or 7-2 going into week 9 or week 10. We're still 7-4 now. We got a ways to go, but we're still in good shape. It's not the end of the world. I think maybe the division's probably out of the picture now. It looks like Philly's going to have, they got a couple tough games left, but we still got one more against Philly. I mean, it's still in reach, but I still think it's a little bit out there. But Mike Sanders still has been kind of an unsung hero this year for the defensive side of the ball. He is playing a position that he's not used to, that he's not really suited for, but he's excelling in that position. Scouse, me and you called it from the beginning. We wanted to draft this guy.
It's your boy.
He is he's played both sides of the ball in college, but he has come in and take the bull by the horns and has really, elevated the play of the secondary, even though that he's playing a position that he's not really suited for. What do you think about
Yeah,
our boy
100%, man. I mean,
Sanders?
I love the guy. The skill set's there. He's got everything you need. For me, normally, a slot corner, or you can say nickel, whatever you want to say. But that's why I see him personally long term. But he has been outstanding, especially the last, say, 4 or 5 weeks, I'd say. I mean, this at the start, he looked a bit rough, a bit ropey, but that's understandable, you know. A rookie coming into a new scheme, and obviously our defense was still just gelling in general, and never mind the secondary. So, you know, with linebackers, the whole big turnover on defense at the start of players, that is. So you know, he's gradually, you can see now that he's at that real game speed. He's at the NFL level now, and you can really see it. I mean, I thought he was outstanding on Thursday against AJ Brown. You know, AJ Brown normally beasts our corners every single day of the week, and Sanister held his own. You know, really nice pass break up in the end zone. I can't remember what quarter it was, but that was
He had
excellent.
two of them. He had two really good
Two of them.
breakups.
You know, as I'm saying, Sanister, man, he's an absolute beast, and I mean, I was made up when we drafted him. So yeah, man. I mean, long may it continue. Keep up with the good coaching. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. You know, we have Marshawn Lattimore waiting in the wings. We're waiting for him to get healthy. Dan Quinn in his press conference today said he's hopeful to see Lattimore on the practice field this week. Scott, my question to you is, when Lattimore comes back, what do we do with Sanders still? Do we keep him on the outside since he's playing so well, or do we push him into the slot and move St-Juste back over to the outside corner? Do we want to try to fix something that's not really broken?
Yeah, I mean the old adage is if it's not broke, don't fix it. And for me, that's the kind of where I'd play it. At the moment, Sam was still going back to your point there, Jesse. If you look at PFF grades, I know you love PFF grades. He is in the top 20 of corners for the entire league now as a rookie. That's no mean feat. You know, he's playing out of his skin at the moment, especially showed you in places against Philly how good he was. The one of the pass breakups on Devontae Smith was just incredible to get his hand up there. And that's kind of what we've lacked and what we've not seen with St-Juste. And I don't want to bag on someone because I'm not bagging on him, but we know he's not turning his head, whereas it was almost perfect cornerback play from Sam Rastil against the Eagles. So for me, Noah I's playing really well in the slot at the minute. So I don't think you change that up. I think you stick to what we've got, and Lattimore goes on one boundary and Sam Rastil's on the other side, and then you have in the slot Noah I. And unfortunately, Benjamin St-Juste becomes what ideally Benjamin St-Juste is. He's a third, maybe a second corner at best. It's a shame for the guy, but we've seen 4 years of St-Juste, and he's not produced when we need him to produce. He had a good game. I'll give him his flowers. He had a good game against Philly. But yeah, I wouldn't change it up, Jesse. If it was me right now, I think I'd stick to where we are. Sam is still on the outside, Lattimore on the outside, and then Noah I in the slot for me.
Yeah, you know, we've heard time and time again that Joe Witt Jr. said that they want to put the best players on the field, and to me, right now, I mean, Sandersville, I think, has got to stay on the outside right now. You just can't, I just don't see it because he's playing so well. I mean, Noah I has been doing a decent job in the slot. I think he's better suited as you know, kind of a backup cornerback in the future. But I mean, that's going to be for St-Juste. You go from a cornerback one to the bench. That's a big drop off right there.
Yeah, I think interestingly enough, Jesse, when we go back to the trade deadline and we look at where we are before we got Lattimore, I genuinely think we were in for DJ Reed from the Jets. Now, I look back at what he was putting out on social media. It's no coincidence that somehow the story breaks a couple of days before the trade deadline saying that players want to come to Washington all of a sudden. He was quite vocal about getting out of the Jets. And then you look at him, you know, as soon as we signed Lattimore, within 2 minutes, he's putting a tweet out with a crying emoji, basically saying, I'm staying. Now, to me, that says, well, hello, you're on top of what's happening in the league. So you know people are moving. Maybe you wanted to come to Washington, and maybe the Jets wanted too much. Maybe we didn't want to go that way. And now he is 8th overall in corners in the entire league. He is a top draw corner. So who's a free agent in 2025? So I think where we are at the moment, I mean, I want to get into off season, but where we are at the moment, that, you know, is we've got to stick with what we know and stick with a winning formula, and it worked well. It worked well.
So he's a
on,
free agent
against
next
that.
year.
He's a free agent coming into this offseason.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
So
Ooh,
you
could
ain't
you
got to pay.
imagine
That's what I'm
Lattimore,
saying. You ain't got to pay him.
Reed, and
Bill.
Sanders still?
That's your
Oh,
three corners. Woo! Locked down.
Very locked
It's a
down.
no-fly zone.
Oh.
It's a no-fly zone
Oh.
there, boys.
man. Then you got Chin and Martin in the backfield.
Ian and Martin in the
Oh,
middle.
my God.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
taking
I'm
that.
dreaming. We got to move on.
We've got to move on.
All right, so I just want to touch on this before we move to actual Dallas. Jane Daniels did not have, let's not sugarcoat anything. He had a bad game. It was his worst game in a Commander's uniform. He was short arming throws. They were in the dirt. He didn't seem confident, his normal confident self back there. The line really didn't give him much any favors. Brandon Coleman, he had a rough game too. Let's not lie about that either. I think they need to go back to that 50-50 split. I think that's when Coleman and Lucas, they played their best doing it that way. I think that pretty much the only lineman that had a good game was San Cosme, but still, you would think Jaden, he's been great against the blitz and against the pass rush all year round, but it just looked like he wasn't confident. He wasn't himself out there. We've been talking all week. How much is the injury affecting him? Well, Dan Quinn comes out today and said Jaden Daniels is not injured. And the reason why he's been so off was because of lack of reps. Sorry, not buying it. Scouse, what says you?
Yeah, I don't buy it either. I mean, when you watched him the last couple of games, he's been throwing a lot off his back foot. Now, that's because he's scared of being hit, because he's hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a pussy or anything. I'm just saying that at the moment he's hurting. He doesn't want to get hit, which is understandable. Do you know what I mean? So you see a lot of his throws, especially the ones that are inaccurate, the ones where he's on his back foot and he's just trying to throw it anywhere. And as you say, he's throwing him in the ground or he's overthrowing it. And that's the thing, you see, it's so difficult to be accurate when you're throwing the ball off your back foot. So he needs to start to be, as you say, get that confidence back where he's actually planting both feet and then laser that ball like he was before the injury. But yeah, man, I totally agree. I still think there's something there. I still think he's still not 100%. And his confidence is getting shot because of it. And I don't like what I'm seeing over his last couple of games. I know we played two good teams. I know we've got two good defenses, and and maybe it's just they're just way better than us, and it's made Jaden look like a rookie, which we know he is, but obviously we know how well he's been playing. It might just be an element of that and an element of that he's hurt, and the reason why his plays drop so low, or is it that he's just playing through injuries and he's still struggling, even though Dan Quinn's saying that he's fine. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's definitely something behind it.
Scott, this they've got, since they had a Thursday night game, they are a much needed break with they're taking right now. Do you think they can work out the kinks, and can Daniels get back to his normal self when this upcoming game against Dallas?
Yeah, Jesse, I do believe that can happen. 10 days off is ultimately going to help the entire team. I think the reason for Jaden Daniels being the way that he is at the moment is clearly the ribs have hurt him. You know what I mean? No one's denying that is there. Soreness is soreness. It might not be an injury, but it might just be sore. And if you're getting hit by defensive ends, it's going to hurt you over time. At the same time, we've come up against two teams who we have to admit are probably better than we are at the moment, especially defensively. The Steelers beat the Ravens yesterday. Philly are a team that's been building for 4 years. We're a team that's been building for 4 months. Do you know what I mean? One off season isn't always going to make it work for us. It's no coincidence as well that after playing these two teams, the offensive line has got worse. Now, I know the offensive line has been beat up, and we went into them 2 games going, oh my God, we've got a top 5 offensive line. When you have a top 5 offensive line that's blocking, that's playing well, that's all on the same page, it works. It helps the quarterback. It helps the running game. Losing Brian Robinson as well hasn't helped Jaden Daniels as well, because you lose that bell cow running back, which you're not able to hand the ball off when you think, oh yeah, I've got there. But look at his stats in rushing And that tells the story of these last two games, to being held to 5 yards against the Steelers and then to 32 yards against the Eagles. It just shows you what you're going up against. And unfortunately, I think he's seen looks that he's not seen before, which has caused him to pass inefficiently, which has caused him to maybe be a tick too quick. The mechanics haven't been there as well. So something is up. Let's not deny it. Something is up, and I don't know if it's just all about the injury or if it's about this is something he's never seen before, because people like Jalen Carter is going to absolutely destroy people. We held TJ Watt to nothing on the stat sheet, but they had two other defensive linemen who were very good in Hayward, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Is it Highsmith? Who are very, very good. So looking at this next game and the schedule going forward, we're not going to be seeing these same teams. So when you're not seeing the best teams as it is, and we haven't got a first place schedule, it's going to undoubtedly help, I think. And I think that the 10 days off will help the whole team get fit, which is what we need. We need a bye, but we needed an earlier bye, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, when you're looking at the Pittsburgh game, they are built to stop Lamar. On the defense,
twice a year, Scouse, it, yeah.
They play twice a year, and so their defense is stacked and it's set up for that. It's set up because speedy linebackers, they've got good spies, they know what they're doing, and they just play their way, their defense, the way they do it every single week against Lamar type quarterbacks. And obviously, Jaden is similar type in that kind of thing where he's good, he's dangerous with his legs, and I think he's a better passer than Lamar personally already. But but that's the danger. But it played right into Pittsburgh's hands, and that's why we struggled a lot. We got a lot of 3-and-outs in that game. There's only a couple of the only thing we were really good at was when we were in the red zone, we probably punched it in. You know what I mean? We got points every single time. From their fake field goal, their fake punt, and we got points from that because we weren't going anywhere until that was happening. So, but we took advantage of their mistakes that they made, and that kind of kept us in the game all the way to the end until we lost it.
There's two key points there as well with players as well. Quinion Mitchell, in my opinion, is probably going to be rookie of the year defensively. He is an unbelievable corner. And then you take take him away. He absolutely shut down Terry McLaurin. We couldn't get anything going.
Terry did a post-match interview in the locker room.
Yeah, I didn't see that. No,
he was pissed. But he was pissed that he didn't get the ball, didn't get targeted
because he couldn't get open because Quinion Mitchell was so good.
And then I've not seen it, but I bet he was open.
And then if you look at the game prior with Quinn as Queen as a spy for the Steelers, that didn't help either. So to your point there, Scouse, you're right in what you're saying. They're built to look at a running quarterback, and they do that twice a year with Lamar. So that's why it's not happened.
With the Pittsburgh game, going back to the Pittsburgh game, I know we didn't have a show after the Pittsburgh game, but the receivers didn't help Jaden at all. We have so many drop passes, and Jaden would look so much better if they would have caught half of those passes. I'm talking about passes that hit him right in the hands, right in the helmet. I mean, Terry dropped a pass, Luke dropped a pass, Noah Brown dropped a pass, De'Ami Brown dropped a pass. I mean, you complete those, Ertz, you complete half of those, we're feeling different right now because we would have won that game. No questions about that. No, because we outplayed the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, remind you, just beat the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. The receivers. Let's just, before we go to Dallas, one last thing. They were better than they were during Pittsburgh, but our receivers had issues big time. Not necessarily with drops, even though there was a couple drops, but they could not get open. We had film reviews from both the Grudens, Mark Bullock, massive amounts of film reviews on with the Philly game. There was no separation. Terry McLaurin was not getting open. Luke McCaffrey was not getting open. Noah Brown was not getting open. That's an issue. That right there is an issue. Not only for now, but for later on, because they got two young defensive backs over there in Mitchell and what's that other young kid?
Yeah, he was the one we traded out for,
Yeah,
and they
we
got him,
traded
didn't they?
out
Cooper
for-
DeJean.
Yeah, DeJean. Yeah. So we're gonna have to deal with them not only later this year, but for
Years.
years to come. So I think a wide receiver is a priority in the offseason. I don't think we need one now, but I do think we need to get Luke McCaffrey involved more in this offense.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I can't wait to look at a team that has T. Higgins next year, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, that'd be great too. But I think Luke, I don't know if it's a trust factor. Maybe just Jaden just doesn't trust him but he is the one receiver that is constantly getting open and not being targeted that much. So hopefully maybe Sunday. So moving on
Why isn't Jaden finding him? Why
I
isn't
don't know. That's a question that maybe we need to get one of the reporters to ask.
Is it down to reads, do you think? Like he's maybe the third or fourth read, and he's just
Probably,
not necessarily
yeah.
seeing it and thinking to
Probably.
himself, well, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3 is not open, so I've got to bail.
Where like McCaffrey or the slot guy could be the first read. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That is available, you know, obviously Kingsbury, but obviously we haven't been seeing it. So
Yeah.
I'm unsure, man. I'm unsure why they're not getting them involved.
And speaking of Kingsbury, I want to put a stop to this nonsense right now. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's the second half of the season. Kingsbury does Kingsbury things." This is not a Kingsbury issue right now. There's plays to be had all over the place. It's an execution issue. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, "Oh, this is what Kingsbury does. The second half of the season, his offensive falls apart." No. And if you actually think about that,
do you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much he can do, you know?
Yeah. If you actually think about even in years past when he's the head coach, when John Keim talked about this earlier, there was so many extenuating circumstances, whether injuries, quarterback issues, defensive issues of why his record is what it is, going all the way back to his Texas Tech days in college. Moving on, Dallas. We got the Cowboys coming into town. I'm going to be there at the game. Can't wait.
It's in Dallas, isn't it?
No, it's home. I hope not. Shit, I
It's not in
bought the
Dallas,
wrong
no.
ticket.
Got the wrong ticket, bro.
So we got Cooper Rush versus Jaden Daniels. We got a team that's pretty much given up. Doesn't have an offense, not much of offense. They ain't got no running game, and they have CeeDee Lamb. And again, Cooper Rush. Now, Cooper Rush has beat our ass before. A couple times, I think. He's beat us twice. But this team's different. This isn't the same old Skins or the same old Commanders or Washington football team. Listen, I think this should be a rout, to be honest with you. I think this is like a 42-10 type game. What do you think, Scott?
I'd be disappointed if it's not up there with that. I mean, I'm looking at Rush's stats, and I saw Rush obviously on a bit of red zone. I watched the game against the Eagles that they had. He's got a fumbling problem, man. He has a fumbling problem. He fumbles the ball a lot. He 2 fumbles against the Eagles. I think there was a fumble as well, or a bad snap against the Falcons as well when they lost that one. Yep, there was a fumble, and he recovered it. So I just had to check that back there. And he's beat us in the past, but as you said, this is a different team now. This is a team where the defense can eat. It can get forward. It can do what it needs to do. I'm expecting to see Dante Fowler a lot off the edge. And what you also have to remember here, Jesse, is there's a lot of pride in this team now, and a lot of this culture is built on, you know, how they all the brotherhood, the togetherness, the being in the right team. You're telling me that Dan Quinn, Joe Witt, you know, Tyler Biadish, Dorrance Armstrong, all these people who've come across from us, Fowler as well, Igbenogany, all these people who've come across from the Cowboys are not wanting to beat their old team.
Oh, yeah.
This has been circled on their calendar since the season started. Trust me.
And they're mad. The Scouts, they're mad. 2 ass whippings in a row. And okay, the Steelers game wasn't really an ass whipping, but This team is mad, and it should be mad. Would you be disappointed if we say we won the game, let's see, 23-15? If it was that close?
Yes, I would be upset, but then I'd still take the W. So I mean,
Of
so
course.
for me, it's all about the W. So yeah, it'd be nice to get 40 points, sure, you know. But obviously we still got to contend with Parsons, and we've got a really big time banged up offensive line, and I still think Jaden's still hurting. So
Parsons, oh come on, man. He's a bum. Parsons a bum. He's a bum.
close of
free
everybody.
agent acquisition next year, but no.
Yeah, thanks.
I'd welcome him with open arms, but he's still a bum with a Cowboys
Yeah.
uniform.
This is his audition to play against to sign for us next year. Yeah, man. I mean, I can see him causing some problems, especially if Biadasz is like 3-4 injuries in, like he is at the moment. If he's not getting any healthier, no, you can definitely see Parsons do some damage. But yeah, I mean, as I say, I'll take the win. Doesn't matter how we win, but it would be nice to see us get back onto some sort of track of
Yeah.
offense, moving the ball a bit more freely.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
He's looking a little bit
Yeah.
better, you know what I mean? Getting back into his kind of old style before the last couple of weeks that we've had. So we've taken on a worse defense than the other two teams we've just played. So that should play into our hands a little bit as well. But Overshown's a really good linebacker as well for them. He's been balling out for them.
No, I wanted him during the draft when he was coming out. Yeah.
Didn't he? First year. So he missed his rookie season, didn't he? With an ACL. This is his first main season playing for the second year. But yeah, man, he's a really good player. But yeah, man, I mean, I say I'm as scared of Dallas. No, so you mentioned the offensive pieces. You just mentioned it there, CeeDee Lamb. That's basically all they've got.
Yeah, their running game consists of Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the other guy,
a fat Ezekiel Elliott,
and a fat Zeke,
and a fat Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, man.
I mean, if we let this team run on us, then we just need to give up.
If we can't beat these with
just
relative,
pack it in. There's like, listen, CeeDee Lamb is a great player, fantastic receiver.
Games, it's
that's true, but still, we're talking about a second string quarterback, and which was already a bad Dallas team when Dak was in it, is an even worse Dallas team now. So, the Eagles, did they put up 30 on them?
27, I think.
27. But they pulled all their starters out at the halfway through the third quarter as well. So yeah, I would be disappointed if we don't put 30 on them and get this offense back on track. Get some confidence back in this offense, this offensive line.
Stand corrected, Jesse. It's 34.
34. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what they score like 15 or something?
6.
Okay, well, okay, there you go. There 6. So our defense, the way it's been playing lately, shouldn't have many issues. I think maybe CeeDee Lamb will get his, say 80 yards and a touchdown, something like that. And but we better not give up 100 yards rushing to any of these receivers combined. No. And I would like to see our rookie linebacker get some time in. McGee, we really haven't noticed him at all. So maybe second half, pull lead out. Scott, what do you think? You think we can get McGee on the field and have a little fun?
Why not? I mean, I'd like to see McGee because you need to see what you've got. I trust the coaching staff to say, yeah, we know what we've got. There's a lot of linebackers as well. I mean, are we going to re-sign Bobby Wagner? There's a lot of questions still in this team, especially when people came across on one-year deals. And I'm not trying to be rude to Bobby, but he looked slow against the Eagles. Yes, he was still good tackling, but in coverage, yeah, I know he's been
he's been slow in coverage for years. That's not.
I know that. I know that. I completely get that.
In reality, that's not even what we signed Luvu for. I think that's why we play heavy defensive back packages, is because we know that our linebackers are not cover linebackers. But that's where I want to see McGee come in and see if we got to cover linebackers. There's going to be some situations where you're going to need it. even if you play nickel all the time, you're still going to need a linebacker here and there to go out in coverage. I mean, Luvu got turned around and Goddard was wide open for almost a 30-yard gain. But Luvu's never been. He's an attacker. He attacks the quarterback and attacks the running back. These guys aren't cover linebackers, but I think we need one, and I think McGee can be that guy. I just think he needs an opportunity, and this might be a good spot. Hopefully, I'm counting my eggs before they hatch right now. I'm expecting to win this game coming up. I'm expecting it not to be close. It shouldn't be close. If it is, then we need to start having another conversation about really where this team is at. But I do expect this team to get back on track. Marshon Lattimore. Scouts, what are we thinking about the Marshon Lattimore situation right now?
I mean, I don't think he plays. I don't think deep down, I don't think we need him to play in this game. As you mentioned before, the offense is pretty dire. You don't have a good quarterback. Do we really need to risk Lattimore, who's maybe still coming off that hamstring? He still might be maybe 85% right now, say. Why don't you just save another week? You know what I mean? And get him 100% for the week after, which is, for me, I'd rather do that because I know I don't want to look past Dallas and in division games and family business and all the rest of it, but they've got nobody that can really hurt us besides CeeDee Lamb. Do you know what I mean? And I think the way Sam Rusdall's been playing, and even the way St. Ghost played last week, he played really well. He did play well. If they can do anything like that this game, then you won't even need Lattimore to be on the playing at all. So I don't think you need him for this week.
Scott, when do you expect Lattimore to be back?
Ideally, I was hoping he would have played last week.
Course.
If I'm being honest, this week potentially. We know what hamstrings are like; they can take 4-6 weeks. I don't even want to see him. Maybe after the Tennessee game. I think even being 2 weeks away now, and towards the back end push of the season is kind of where I think if he's not on the field, then that's when I start worrying, thinking, hang on a minute, what did we trade for here? I know he's got 2 years left, and I know it's a long-term thing. And we had a bit of a set to on the Bleeding Burgundy about that when I was saying, hold on a minute. I get completely your point of view, Jesse, where you were saying, you're trying to put yourself over the top and you're putting someone in where there's a hole, you're at 7 wins, you think to yourself, there's a playoff run here. This move will put us over the top. I don't want to see him probably till New Orleans, being honest with you. And I think that'd be, if he's 100% fit by New Orleans after a bye week as well, 3 more weeks away, that's fine. We've got 2, I don't want to count my chickens, as you just said there, 2 relatively straightforward games. I'm not going to say they're easy because no game's easy in the NFL, but we've got 2 straightforward games against, and then a bye week. So let's see where we are after the bye going into that latter end of the season.
Yeah, you would have thought that, if they had known it would have been this long. I mean, they knew he wasn't going to be ready for probably 2 weeks in, but you would have thought they would probably put him on IR if they thought it was going to be longer than 4 weeks or 4 weeks or longer. But that's neither here nor there. And yes, like they got Lattimore now for this run. Okay. If they wanted to get a cornerback just for the future, I think it's icing on the cake that we have 2 years on the deal. But they would have probably waited till the off season and got a guy like a DJ Reed or something like that, or went and drafted somebody high. But they would not have made this trade if we were 2-7 or 4-3 or something like something those lines. But we were 7-2 for the trade. We have a hole. They went out and go fix it because they need him for this stretch run, because we got a lot of good receivers that we're going to be facing in the playoffs, and we don't have anybody to cover them. I mean, we got a plethora of receivers in Atlanta, freaking even New Orleans. I mean, they got some. They might not have any household names, but Derek Carr throws the ball around. They can score.
Having it up last few weeks.
Drake
Wow.
London is
Yeah.
coming to town. We got another matchup with CeeDee Lamb after this. We have another matchup with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and that's before the playoffs. So yeah, we definitely needed a cornerback to help
Let's
us.
put
on
Kine
this
as
run.
well for Tennessee. He's not a bad
He's
receiver.
not bad. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Receivers.
Boys, before we go, I want to get some predictions from you. First game predictions. Scott, what's the score?
I'm going to go 36-9.
Okay. How many touchdowns Jayden's throwing? How many TDs?
4.
4 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, as you know,
28
four.
points.
How's he going to get? How are they going to get 36?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. What's her name? The lady who does those predictions. I'm just pulling numbers out the air. Trying to. You gotta make me. You're gonna make me do quick maths here,
Fuck
and I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I
be able to
am.
make
No, I'm
it.
just messing with you. I'm messing with you.
So 28. They want 35. We'll go with then, not 36. We'll go 35.
So he's going to
9.
go 4 touchdowns. Who's going to get the other touchdown?
B Rob.
B-Rob. Okay. All right. Scouse, what's the score?
31-21.
31-21. They're going
Ooh,
to score 21
10-point win.
points on us. Man, if they score
Okay.
21 points of us, man, I'm going to be disappointed in the defense.
All got out the window. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be disappointed in the defense. I have it 42-13 Commanders in I think we're going to see Mariota at the end of the game, fourth quarter. And he's going to throw like 2 touchdowns,
A route.
Yeah, it's going to be a route. It's going to be a route. I think Jayden is going to have a fantastic game. He's going to look like himself. I think B-Rob is going to run all over them. I think Austin Eckler is going to have a great game. I think Zach Ertz is going to have a great game. And I think Luke McCaffrey finally scores a touchdown. And he better, because I keep betting on him every freaking week. A prop bet every freaking week.
I've never seen Jesse this optimistic going on.
I know. Yeah, you do
I
realize
was-
though, after snap 1, it will all be doom and gloom.
It's
Yeah.
That's
over.
true. I'll be texting you off in the
I'm going-
game. Fuck it, I'm going home.
I'll meet you in the
Man, I was so close to hitting a big parlay. I was
Is it
a
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown away to snapping a good one Sunday night. Man. He got one, but I had him for scoring 2 touchdowns. All right. We have how many games left in the season?
Where are we? Week 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6 games left. Would 10-7 be disappointing?
No, I don't think it'd be disappointing.
No,
mean, it's
from
not
where
like-
we've come from. No.
Might go, but to be fair, let's say we won 4 games last year.
Yeah.
I'm
And
going to
as
say
much-
absolutely 100% it would be disappointing. Starting 7-2 and then petering out the second half of the season, the weaker part of the season, I guess, to end up only winning 3 more games after you win 7. I think it would be I think 11 is the bar is the bar. I think hitting
Okay.
11 would take that monkey off our back that haven't been able to get over in so long. We haven't won more than 10 games in a very, very long time.
So do you think we go 4-2 down the stretch? I mean, honestly, like we were saying before, I'm looking at this roster, and there isn't, and I don't want to be cocky. I'm not trying to get like that at all, but there's only one team on this roster on the remaining schedule that I can see that that would worry me, and that's Philly. That's it.
That's what I mean. Is like if
Atlanta looked terrible.
if we
Or
beat
they did last night.
if we beat Dallas, okay,
Mhm.
that gets up to 8. We beat Tennessee, that's 9. We go into our bye 9-4. All right, we come out of our bye. We play Philly right after our bye, right?
It's New Orleans
New Orleans, okay.
away.
It's between like really we only have to we need to win either New Orleans or Atlanta. One of
Yeah.
those two. Okay. If we lose one of those, it'd probably be a shootout. I'll be fine with. Probably going to lose Philly again. And then we got Dallas. That'll give us 11.
Mhm.
Hell, we could win 12. We could beat both New Orleans. We come out of the bye fully healthy. Marshawn Lattimore's back, and we're indoors.
Going
Where
up
Jaden's
against
not
New
cold,
Orleans.
and I still think it's a
Woo-hoo!
thing.
Don't
Jaden
take-
Daniels cold weather. I think that's an issue. No one wants to freaking believe me, but I do absolutely think it's an issue.
An issue so far. He played
Yeah.
3 games in the cold, and he hasn't been good in any of them really.
And it wasn't even really cold. So, yeah, Taman, it's a thing, dude. I mean, theoretically, we were going to be favored in every game except for probably Philly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well,
You know?
New Orleans is starting to turn a corner though since they
I
fired
still think
the head
I
coach.
still think we'll be favored in that game. Might be only
Probably.
like 2 or 3 points, like 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, something like that. But I still think we'll be favored in that game.
Salave against Lattimore, that'd be a nice little
Chris Olave's out. I think he's
Oh, is
injured
he out?
on. Yeah, I think he's on IR for the season.
Oh, wow.
Definite win then. Okay. It's a definite win. I'm not
Oh,
with the receivers.
Don't quote me on that though, but I will look into that. I'm pretty certain he hurt himself quite bad a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that him having to get carted off.
Yeah, he got carted off on a stretcher, I believe. Yeah, but I do
Was it a
remember that.
concussion or was it like extremity?
Not sure. He's placed on injured. You've got placed on injured reserve. So, yeah, 2
What-
concussions in 3 weeks was what it
Oh.
was.
Okay, so when was it? He could be back by that time.
9th of November.
That was last week.
That's 6 weeks. Though. No chance it won't be us, will it? Will he be back for that?
I think it's 4 weeks, isn't it?
I thought it was a 6 weeks.
IR's
maybe
4
you might be
weeks. Yeah, IR short-term IR's 4 weeks. Yeah.
So we'll see. But we might have Lattimore back for that. So
Against his old team as well, Jesse.
Yeah.
That, as Scal
yeah, you
said
know
there.
he'll want to show out for that.
That'd be a nice little matchup.
But yeah, it's those key games. I think the key games is Atlanta and New Orleans right there. If we can at least split those, if not win them both, we'll be in good shape. We'll be in good shape.
I mean, it's
'Cause
doable.
Philly still has the Ravens and Pittsburgh to play.
They do. Yeah, and they've still. I
So-
think this. Have they not got? Have they still got the Rams as well to play?
And maybe the Rams.
Still gonna
And
play
Rams
us.
are one of those teams like
That
sometimes
you just
they're
don't know
hot,
what's going to turn up. Yeah.
like sometimes they're red hot, and sometimes they lay a stinker.
I'm not better now. They receive the back.
So let me
Yeah.
see. Let me look at quickly at Philly's record here. So they have the Rams next, which is at the Rams. Then they are at the Ravens. Then they're at home to the Panthers. Then they are at home to the Steelers. Then it's us, and then it's the Cowboys, and then it's the Giants.
So those
So,
last 2 games,
Three.
they're
There's
going to win
3
those
games.
2.
Yeah. So there's 3 games, and the Panthers. I would definitely
Yeah.
say.
They'll be beat up by the time those last 2 games come, though, when they've got to play Giants and Dallas.
Yeah, but Tommy DeVito is now the starting quarterback
QB.
for the New York Giants. That's a win for Philly. That's a win for Philly in Dallas.
So
We
they've
got a chance
potentially-
if we're healthy and we can get some offense. I'd give us a chance. I mean,
They can potentially lose 3 games there. The LA game next week is key for them, as well as obviously our game against Dallas is key for us. So we could see it switch back again. We don't know. I mean, or us get closer to them, and then it's a shootout when we play them at our place.
Yeah,
which will be very interesting to see.
I mean, I don't think Philly win out. I don't think that.
No, I don't think so.
no, I think the Ravens beat Philly, and there's a shot. I think there's a good chance that Pittsburgh might be able to beat Philly
Yeah.
because they're good
I agree.
with mobile quarterbacks. Really good mobile quarterbacks.
And if we can somehow nick the result against them, then we're top of the division then at that point.
Could be.
We yeah, we would be.
They've lost 3 games out of the last 6 games, whatever they got left. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it all depends on our game, and if we go into as a tie, they got the tiebreaker, I think.
Well, they wouldn't, would they, if it was a split? Be 1-1, wouldn't it?
They still own a tiebreaker, I think, is the first game. I don't know how that freaking works.
I don't know how that
It
works.
doesn't matter, anyways.
Wouldn't they be good after that? I mean, we've beaten the Giants twice. Okay, they beat us, but we'll beat them, so that'd be level. And then if we do double over Dallas,
which they will probably do as well.
well, so you might go off point bloody scored or whatever.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it could be anything.
That
Yeah,
close, you
who
never know.
knows?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anything else, fellas?
No, thank you for having me on, Jesse.
No, thanks
Burrows,
for coming on
Burrows,
a short notice.
get better soon, mate. I appreciate you having me on your show. And Scouse, I will see you on Thursday.
As long as he stops dealing with those $10 hookers, I think he'll be all right. All right, Scott, where can all the listeners catch you at?
So they can catch my dulcet tones again, and Scouse, who is always there, dropping the knowledge. You can find the 1 Point Safety Show every Thursday night, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We are live on YouTube, so go ahead and give us a follow on there. And it's also available on every every podcast catcher app that you use.
And you also catch Scotty at Scotty84.
It's me, SCOTTIEH84.
On Twitter and the Blue Sky.
Yep.
Scouse, where can everybody reach you at?
It was mostly on Twitter, at ScouseAndy20, or 1 Point Safety Show at 1 Point Safety, and then the number 4.
And you can reach me at Jesse's24 or at Commanders for Life on Blue Sky. Also on the Bleeding Birdie podcast, me, Scott, Taman, and Max do a show every Monday, Monday and Friday. We do Commanders podcasts and at 5:30. And on Saturdays, we have an NFL pick show where we pick against the spread and make some bets. And that's on Saturdays, normally in between 1 and 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. So yeah, I think that's it.
Have you got one tonight?
No.
And we're off till Friday. Friday's the next show.
Till Friday. So thanks for everybody being with us, and we'll see. Before we go, our next episode will be the Bunkers 100th episode. So tune in. We'll probably have some special guests. And thanks for being here. Bunker down and stay safe, everybody.